Okay, today I am showing you guys how to do like a regular tune-up on a whatever. It's not the same for all vehicles. Older vehicles are a little different than what this is, but same basic concept. So I'm gonna start with spark plugs and wires. I'm not really gonna take them apart. I'm just gonna show you how to pretty much just do it. But alright, so come over here and you get down into here. You got these little wires. And there's these wires right here. These are spark plug wires. On this particular motor, back behind the engine, there'll be a little thing back there, and these wires plug into it. And they'll run around the top of the engine and plug into the side of the engine block. Can't really see them on this one very well, but actually, it's too dark. Okay. Well, anyway, but you'll see where they plug in, and when you plug them in, you just take it, yank on it, and it pops off just like that. Some of the ends will look like that, and some of them will just like come off and go to like a L type looking shape, and they won't be this long. But you pop it off and you hear a little pop, and that's how those come off. The way you should do your spark plugs, you should change them one at a time. Make sure, to make sure you don't mess up your firing order. And what the firing order does, all that does is just it's like the order that your pistons will fire in. Your pistons are pretty much what makes your motor run. You do that, you pull your spark plug out, and then you go to put your new spark plug in, and you rest it in there. Don't tighten it too tight because you could strip it, but go tighten it as tight as you can, and maybe quarter to a half a turn to get them completely tight. And for your wires, take the first one off, run it the exact way that it was, and plug it back on there, and you just do that same process over again. And that's how you would change your spark plugs. Sometimes there's 4 for 4-cylinder motors, 6 for a V6, and 8 for a V8. And you could have the 10-cylinder motor and your V12, which will have 10 and 12 spark plugs, but I doubt you're going to be able to afford one of those. But there's that. And then checking your fluids, you would have your master cylinder, which is where your brake fluid would go, and you just pull the top of it off like that. You know, you got this little rubber piece, fill it up with brake fluid, put this back on there, and pop it back on there. There's that. This is your clutch fluid if you have a manual, and you just pop the top of it off, and you got your fluid in there, and you just pop it back on there, and that's easy. And your engine coolant, sometimes they'll have a tank like this, and you just twist it off, and it'll have a little like a little gauge on the side where it says medium, empty, or full, and you just fill it up to the full mark, put your cap back on there, and that's what pretty much just keeps your motor where it's cool and it don't overheat. On the other cars that don't have that, they'll have right here where your thermostat would be, and you just take the little well on the top, you pop it open just pretty much like that and fill it up.
Okay.
Okay. And then you after that you have your oil, which is on this one back here. Some of them look a little different. You know, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen one of these before. You check it. There's a little grid on here, and
see if you'll see it in the camera.
but I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but on there there'll be a little grid. It'll have little X's or whatever it has on it, and it'll say operating range, which is how full or not full your oil is. And whenever you check it, you want to wipe it off with a white rag so you can see the color of your oil. Whenever your oil is black, it means that means it's bad because it's burning oil. But now once it's bad, there's your oil filter, which on this it's underneath the truck, and I can't get under that because it's too low. But your oil filter is underneath the truck or vehicle or whatever, and you just screw it off. You don't want to do that first. You want to take the oil drain plug out and let all the oil drain out of it, and then once it's drained, go ahead and screw it back on. And once you get your old oil filter off, dump it out in your oil pan, throw it away. Get your new oil filter and take the new oil that you got, poke a hole in it, dip your finger in there and rub it around the little black seal that's all the way around the outside of it. And what that does, that keeps it from sticking to your motor, and it'll make it easier to get off, and it'll give you a decent seal. But whenever you take the old one off, you want to check and make sure that that one is on there. And then you just screw it back on. Don't tighten it too tight, because if you tighten it too tight, it's really going to be really hard to, twist it off. So finger tight it as tight as you can. Give it a little twist after you get it tight. And there's that. For your battery, you want to look at the terminals. Some of them will have top posts like these, and they'll have side posts like what this truck originally has. Your side post, it screws into the side, and then there will be, and sometimes you can get a little bit of corrosion in there, which will cause your battery not to work or get a good connection. And once you get when you get corrosion on there, what you want to do is you want to pull the screws out of it. There's a little thing, it's like a wire brush or something like that. You stick it in there, twist it, and what that does is that cleans all of the corrosion off of the positive and negative terminals, and then that's clear. And they have a certain tool for the top ones, and all it is just like a little hole, and it's got the same thing like wire brush. You just twist it, and it'll take all this white stuff that's on here off, and there's that. Now your air filter, this one has an aftermarket air filter, sorry, and this one, it's really easy to do. You just pretty much just twist your little clamp off, pull it off, put a new one on there. Some of them might have a square, and all you do, there's little clips on the side that you flip and pull it up, pull the old one out, put the new one in, and then latch it back on there. And now others, like, I don't know, like a van, they'll have the same thing as those, except they're a little different. You'll unclip the side, and it's sideways, like this, except there's a little casing right here that you have to pull completely out, and you can pop the top of it off, slide your air filter down in there, close it, stick it back on there, and latch it. There's your air filter. And okay, now once that's done, you should always check your tire pressure. I don't know what the tire pressure is in these right now at the moment, but there's a tire pressure gauge. What you do is you pretty much just take your valve stem off, or your valve stem cap off, plug your tire pressure gauge on there, and whatever number that will be on there should be like I don't know, you should have at least 35, 40 pounds, or, shoot. Can't think of what he would call it.
RPM?
No. Alright. But, I'm just gonna call it foot-pounds for right now. But, that's what, that's the your air pressure. PSI, that's what it is. You should have like 35 to 40 PSI in there. And if you don't have that, the proper tool that you should use to air it up they got a little air hose that's kind of like your regular air hose, but it's got the pressure gauge on it, and you just stick it on the end, air it up a little bit, check it, air it up a little bit and check it, and it just reads it off to you. But there's that. If you ever need to jack your car up and take your tire off, what you want to do is you want to put the jack on the frame. And if you look underneath your vehicle, there's real thick metal bar, or square bar if you want to, but you put it on there and you jack it up. That's the best place for it. It's more sturdy than all the rest. And once you lift it up, you got your 4 lug nuts on here, and whenever you do it, or whenever you go to take it off, you can take it off any way you want to, but after you're done, make sure that you put it on, or put it back on there in a star pattern like this, because what that does is it'll level the wheel out and make sure it's straight and flat on your wheel bearing, or your hub, if that's what you want to call it. And then once you get them back on there, you want to tighten them up as much as possible. Then whenever you let your car down, double check, make sure they're extra tight. So whenever you're driving down the road, your wheel just don't randomly fall off. Another thing that'll help you out a little bit, if you have disc brakes on your front, I'm pretty sure most of you will know what that is. You want to make sure you loosen the lug nuts up before you lift it up in the air, because if not, your brakes won't catch the wheel to loosen them. Now, if you already have it up in the air, then you should probably have somebody go in there and hold the brake down. And then once they do that, it'll just lock the wheel so you can take your lug nuts off. And that's about it that so far that I can think of that I know of to help you guys with, except for the fuel filter. I'm sorry about that. The fuel filter is usually under the door, or not really under the door, under the frame, over by your driver's side door, like back towards the back of the car. And then you could also, there's also some cars, like if you look at a Mercedes-Benz, the fuel filter will probably be like right here in this area, and your master cylinder will be scooted over or back a little bit, or just matters, or it doesn't really matter on certain vehicles where that's at. But and that wraps up my video. So there's that, and this is my senior project.